Oh, so if you watched my last video, you know that I asked my Instagram viewers via the little question thing that they have up, you know, about any topics or questions about bisexuality that you would want me to talk about in a video. And one of them is actually something I was already thinking about doing, and that is Bierasure. Eraser? Bierasure? Words I can't pronounce. So essentially, you know, it's, you know, people thinking that you don't like this gender, you only like this gender, and, you know, so on and so forth. And there wasn't really any, like, specific question, it was just, please talk about it. So I'm just gonna talk about my personal experiences. I know it's something that is done a lot. I see it all the time on Twitter, and there's articles about it, and I even just retweeted an article that somebody wrote about it. And yeah, I've experienced my fair share of that, mostly in the last year. I actually had a man do this to me, and you know, I had a habit. I love to support my friends, my women friends, right? Because hashtag girl love, created by Lily Singh, you know, you want to support fellow women, and that's, you know, by supporting their work or supporting selfies when they post it, because why the heck not? And so when my friends would retweet their really pretty selfies, I would retweet them. And I always like to do like hashtag Babylor because it was a fun thing to do. It got to a point, after doing it a few times, that I was told by this individual that you don't like men. You don't like men anymore. You only like girls. You know, you're not attracted to this, and, you know, whatever, because you're posting your friends' pictures or retweeting your friends' pictures. And I was just like, what? And this was done by the same individual, like, every once in a while, and I was just like, have you seen me write about how I would marry Alex O'Loughlin, or rather, I guess, Steve McGarrett in Hawaii Five-0, the reboot, which Alex O'Loughlin plays? I would marry him and have his children probably in a heartbeat if he asked. And I don't like marriage, and I don't want kids. I'm tocophobic, for crying out loud, and I'm sitting here like, oh no, this guy's gonna get it. And yeah, it was just, and you know, like all these other men that I've talked about that I've been attracted to or are attracted to, like Aaron Yan and Brian Jew, and have you also seen Ezra Miller? Like, hello? So every time I don't know if I want to say the word being accused, although I guess that's kind of what it is, but just having my sexuality judged every so often when I said over and over and over, no, I like men, I like women, I like whoever, right? Like, if I said that over and over and over again, get it, understand it, and don't tell me who I like or who I am attracted to, because I would not do the same to you. I don't do the same thing to you. I don't do that, or wouldn't do that to other bisexual people, pansexuals, you know. Or I don't go to my straight friends and be like, hey, like, to my straight male friend, I wouldn't go to him and be like, nah, I don't know, I'm gonna judge your sexuality. Your sexuality is wrong because I said so, and here's my really terrible logic, right? It just doesn't work that way, and it's always so annoying to be told that over and over and over, because one, not only is it just annoying, but two, it eventually ends up ruining friendships, relationships, etc., etc. One of the most annoying things, and that's why I think sometimes it got to the point that I was now starting to question my sexuality because of what somebody else was trying to tell me. Somebody else who has no idea really what my sexuality is, and, you know, it's just really, really annoying. You know what your sexuality is, or I mean, if you're questioning it and, you know, confused, and you don't really know for sure what it is. But I mean, eventually, you are going to be the only person that will understand who you are attracted to. Whether you are straight, pansexual, bisexual, asexual, there's demisexual, and there's a whole lot of different types that I don't really even know. But you get where I'm going with this. You are the only person that is going to know who you like, who you are attracted to, blah, 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 blah. Don't let anybody try to tell you otherwise. And if they say it once, you know, you can, maybe you'll forgive them and you'll be like, no, this is how it is, and that's done, okay? Do it once, educating moment, maybe they are truly ignorant, which is fine because that happens. We don't all know everything or understand everything. But if it gets to the point where they're doing it over and over and over again after you've put your foot down and explain, no, this is how it actually is, it's just gonna eventually probably ruin the relationship or the friendship or whatever, and just stop. So yeah, if you're one of those people that try to tell somebody what their sexuality is, don't do it, because you won't know, because you are not them. Okay, just stop doing that. Bisexuality is a real thing, and you know what? This is the same kind of stuff that also happens in the media. Like, in the media, one person is either straight or they're gay, and you can never have both. Having both is impossible. So, like, you know, with Buffy, Willow was dating Oz, that was his name, right? She was dating a guy, and then she dated Tara, and then she dated Kennedy, and at some point, you know, during that, she was like, yeah, I used to like guys, and now I don't like them anymore. And you know what? That's okay. You might have dated men and then realize, you know what? No, I like women. That's perfectly okay. That is part of understanding your sexuality. But that seems to be like the only way sexuality is represented in media. Like, there's never a chance for it to be everyone. Like, there's never a chance for bisexuality to really shine. It's just one or the other or whatever, you know? Which is why it was such a big deal when Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine came out as bisexual, and it was just like, they said the word. Well, you know, sometimes they'll have bisexuality represented in media, but they don't say the word. They're too scared to say the word, and it's so annoying. It's not a bad word. It's just not. Use it! So that's my little personal experience, and I guess my little mini rant about it, you know, like, in general. And in the media, if you are bisexual and you've experienced this, if you want to, if you are comfortable, feel free to share that in the comments down below. And before you go, if you haven't, consider pledging on Patreon. It's a great way to help support your fellow creators. You do get something back in return, so don't fret. For me, you get things like music playlists and exclusive written content, and if you go up high enough, there's like Pokemon drawings and pen pal letters, and all around it's really cool, and I will see you later.